Hey everybody, it's Mike here, and I'm coming to you today with a little story that I found kind of interesting. It would seem that the Ontario Securities Commission has given its blessing for a Bitcoin ETF. And this ETF, of course, is going to track, or at least attempt to track, the performance of Bitcoin itself. And looks like they don't have a whole bunch of information up on it right now, but it just got the okay, and they've got a fact sheet out, and I looked through the fact sheet. We can look through it real quick. And Purpose Investments, this is the individual that is going to be actually running the ETF. They don't have a lot of information about it. They started it apparently on February 11th, and you know market price, this information is not available, is new. Net value of it's new, etc. And their statement on it basically is that it's high risk, and that you know only people that are willing to invest long term and can sustain high levels of risk should be investing in the fund itself. And I find it interesting because I think ETF funds provide a vehicle for people to invest in Bitcoin who really don't know anything about it and don't want to hold it themselves. Because what's going to happen is, just like with gold ETFs or silver ETFs, there's going to be a vault somewhere. They're going to store the Bitcoins there, hopefully, right? We're going to have to peek under the covers. But I'm sure, being that it's going to be a regulated ETF, that they will probably hopefully have their vaults audited on a regular basis. Of course, just to put this out there, when you buy into an ETF, you're not buying the underlying assets. You're not really buying Bitcoin. You're buying shares of the Bitcoin that then you can trade to other people, on an exchange. And of course, if they issue more shares, then your shares, individual shares, dilute. Your position won't, but how this operates on in the market. So, my opinion is that I think it's potentially, and again, I'm not a person that can tell anyone financial advice. I'm not any sort of a financial advisor. You shouldn't listen to me. You'll lose money because I'm just another random guy on YouTube. But that being said, I think it's an interesting place to invest your money if you would like to get onto the cryptocurrency or Bitcoin train, and you really don't want to mess with, wallets, exchanges directly, and figuring out how to buy, Bitcoin and what it means, etc. The only thing that concerns me a little is it ties up cash against Bitcoin that will no longer be able to be used, right? So they're going to have to take those Bitcoins that they purchase, put them in the vault, and then they cannot be used anymore. And the only thing I see that doing in a way is it's going to drive up potentially the price depending on how big these ETFs get. And at some point, Bitcoin has got to stabilize, in my opinion. It's got to stabilize to something. Otherwise, using it as a currency is going to be difficult at best. From my own personal experience, I sold off 150 Bitcoins that I mined on a CPU back in 2010. In 2013, made some good money, but had I known that it was going to be worth what it is today, I wouldn't have used them. I would have hoarded them. And that's the problem. That's the problem I've always had with Bitcoin, and to a lesser extent Litecoin and some of the other alt/stable coins, is that until they get all the way to the end of their production run, if they have one, it's deflationary, and anyone is somewhat crazy, to spend any of them. A second example was I tried to buy a Butterfly Labs jalapeno back in 2013 when they came out. It cost me like 7.8 Bitcoins. Whenever I got a refund finally because they couldn't deliver, I got like 7.5 back, I think it was. It was the exact market value. It was like $500 worth of Bitcoins when I bought and $500 worth of Bitcoins when I got back. But I got less Bitcoins back. And because the value had gone up. And I felt a little cheated at that point, because I thought, wait a minute, I gave you 7.8, you give me 7.5, and you say that it seemed like a scam, and Butterfly Labs did produce stuff, but it seemed kind of scammy. And that's the thing I see, with this is that this is good for people not involved in, really don't care about Bitcoin. They just want to invest in its performance, right? And then, trade shares, etc. But for the people who might want to use it as a currency, it does, in my opinion, potentially, dampen that ability. If we've got a bunch of ETFs hoarding large amounts of Bitcoin that can't be spent, won't be spent because they're on an ETF and they're trying to, obviously drive up the price, or at least work with it to drive up the price, then it kind of takes away from Bitcoin's intention. And, a lot of people will say, well, then go to an altcoin, some other stable coin. And you're right, until they begin putting, ETFs and stuff around those. Maybe that's okay. Maybe I got the whole idea wrong. That's a distinct possibility. Maybe my line of thought here is completely incorrect. But it's just my opinion. And I'd be more than delighted to hear your opinion and whether or not you think this is a good idea, or you think it's going to cause problems, or you think that, hey, no worries, or whatever. Just let me know down in the comments below. In any case, hope you guys have a wonderful, guys and gals, have a wonderful night, and I'll see you next time.